Now, unfortunately, with that feeds into the next thing on the negatives there is despite the fact that they have that strong grip ability, they are weak. What is up, everybody? It is Jake back with the MF Film Room. Thank you so much for being here. If you want to be up to date on all things EA college football, hit that red subscribe button, hit the like button, and follow me on Twitter and Instagram. If you like college football content, go subscribe to my other channel, Master Football with Jake Posey. Link is in the description. But enough about all that EA college football content. Let's go. First thing I want to do is I want to thank all the people who went and watched my wide receivers and tight ends video right now. That video absolutely blew up. Thank you guys so much for that. And I saw a comment in there that basically said, hey, go ahead and do all the offensive linemen, do guards, centers, and tackles. Well, ask and you shall receive because it's next up on the list. We're continuing on with our breakdown of all of the different position archetypes here. We're going on to the offensive line, and we've got ourselves an interesting one here because offensive line is the only position group that requires at least 5 guys on the field at one time. Now, I know that there's certain people that can have monster or this or that or different formations with, more or less. But for the most part, I mean, DBs in like dime or something like that might have like 6, maybe 7 if they go to like prevent or something like that. But for the most part, the number one position group that is on the field at most times is generally the offensive line. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through our different chapters here of breaking them down. Let's go ahead and get started right now. All right, on our chapters here, we obviously are going to start out with our method. Then we're going to review each archetype's initial ratings and abilities and their positives and negatives. And again, for this one here, we've got 4 different archetypes. Agile offensive linemen who also have athletes. We also have pass protector O-line, raw strength O-line, well-rounded O-line. And then we're going to rank each of them according to their use case. I will let you know the reason why I say O-line and not guards versus center versus tackles and not breaking it down is because I actually went through to see are there different things when you train guards versus when you train tackles, and it's generally the same across the board for so like an agile tackle, guard, and center have the same training abilities as each other. Same thing with a pass protector, center guard and tackle, a raw strength center guard and tackle, and a well-rounded center guard and tackle. There's generally the same things there. There are some differences between the agiles and the pass protectors, raw strength and the well-rounded for what their trees do. There's very, very minimal, though, just because they're just kind of the same. You can generally switch them across the board. But let's get into that method real quick. So method, and again, we're recruiting offense, and you know what we're going to do. This is the last time we are going to be recruiting using Alabama because Alabama, again, with what they have, they're extremely good. Kalen DeBoer is extremely good at recruiting offense. We're probably going to be using Georgia when we recruit those defensive guys. But we're going to be using Alabama for recruiting purposes. We're going to recruit around 3 players from each of the following star levels: 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I did include the 1 stars for the wide receivers and tight ends because there's 12 different archetypes for them. This one, there's 4 archetypes. It's a little bit easier. There's only going to be a couple 5 stars due to their numbers being so low. And agile centers, remember, so if you see an agile athlete, that's a center. They have both regular and athlete versions. I'm going to attempt to find as many of those as possible, and then for both of those. And then I'm going to attempt to sign and review them and see how they turn out. Let's get into the first one, which is our agile offensive lineman. So I'll let you guys know really quickly here, I really like the agile offensive linemen. I try to recruit them a lot. I like the guards a little bit more than the tackles. I'll get into my reasonings why, but the agiles are the best athletes when it comes to the agile offensive archetypes there. So they've got a lot of things here. I mean, quick step is literally, most of them already come with it. It is the ability to quick pull on plays where they pull. It is a really cool, archetype here because they are generally the most athletic. They've got a lot of really good traits. Let's get into those real quick. So for the agile offensive linemen and the athletes, their initial ratings and their abilities. So for their initial ratings, their speed, acceleration, agility, and change of direction, and even strength are all pretty good. And if you look at them, the athletes are better at all of this. On top of this, the athletes are really unique. Let's check those out. So these are some of the guards here, and some of these guys are 3s, 2s, maybe even 4s, but you can generally see that the speeds, the accelerations, the agilities, the change of direction, some of them can be pretty bad, but a lot of times they're pretty good. The strengths are surprisingly high too. All of these are generally pretty good for them. And these are the agiles, and the agiles, 78 speed, 82 acceleration, 88 strength, 89 strength. These guys are 57 overall, and they're 88 strength, 89 strength. These guys are very, very athletic when it comes to the offensive line archetypes. And obviously with these guys on their initial ratings, their finesse footwork is very high, run block finesse and pass block finesse. Their athletes also have super high finesse moves and solid defensive line abilities. Again, you got to check out the athletes. They're some of my favorite. So these are the athletes here. So these guys right here, this guy's a 70 overall. This guy's a 49. So this right here is at center. But if we go on our way over to see how they are at the defensive side of the ball, they're actually pretty good. So we get over here, we're able to see that their play recognition, some of it's okay. Tackle's pretty good. Hit power's okay. Block shitting's all right. Some of it's actually kind of low. Their finesse moves are very high. I mean, 87, 60. This guy's 47 overall, and he's got almost 70 finesse moves. The power moves aren't that great. But again, these guys right here, pretty good pursuit. They can be pretty good pass rush DTs. And so for their abilities there, their abilities, Screen Enforcer, by the way, if you've ever seen Screen Enforcer in action, if you've got one or two, let's say you've got like a left guard or a left tackle and you run screen to the left side, it is one of the coolest abilities. They absolutely just take people out on that. Also, Quick Step, the ability to move as a pull blocker, which is very, very important. Option Shield, improve option blocking on option plays. Outside Shield, improve double teams on outside runs. And remember here, for inside and outside shield, talking about those double teams, that's something that's very important to consider there. We'll talk about that more in a sec. And then Quick Drop, improve pass block movement. Like I said, these guys, they really, really can move. They're very good athletes across the board. All right, for the positives and negatives. So for the positives, for the athlete, offensive lineman, and athletes, again, easily the best overall athletes out of all of the offensive lineman archetypes. They're pretty strong and easily the best speed and acceleration. And then they're, again, for that platinum quick drop, which is, you know, the ability for pass block movement, only requires 70 speed and 84 acceleration. A lot of the Agiles are going to be close to that. Maybe you only need a couple points in quickness to be able to get to that. It's really rare when you talk about certain points there. Also, have the most easily obtainable ability for the offensive line, which is Quick Step. It only requires 79 acceleration for bronze, and most, I mean, even bad Agile guards will come in like 76, 77 acceleration. They will be able to get that pretty quick, and I will tell you, Quick Step is an awesome, awesome ability. They're the only offensive lineman with Screen Enforcer. Also, if you think about that too, the athletes can be pretty sick speed rush DTs. And then for some reason, they have multiple trees to train stamina, both footwork and quickness. Like I said, I'm not really sure how this impacts things, but it's in the game. Let's go ahead and verify that real quick. So this is an Agile offensive lineman. You can train footwork and give them stamina. You can also train quickness and give them stamina. Again, I don't really know if that does a lot for the offensive line, but it's in the game. All right, getting on to the negatives there. So unfortunately, they have 3 abilities that require power or quickness points, which is Quick Step, Quick Drop, and Screen Enforcer. So Quick Step is going to do acceleration. Quick Drop is going to require acceleration and speed. And Screen Enforcer is going to require impact blocking. Again, those are expensive trees, so that's something that you have to kind of consider there. Also, with Quick Step is awesome for a guard, but you think about this, like, unless you kind of run GTs or counter trays where you've got the guard and the tackle pulling, it's not as cool for a tackle, and then it's almost worthless for a center. I actually said right here, it said, please prove me wrong if so. My friend actually said there's a couple plays. There might be some load options where the center pulls, but for the most part, pulling as a center doesn't really work. I mean, there are certain offenses that do it in real life, but it's not something that's super common with centers. They're also very tough to position switch on offensive line and keep the archetype. Unfortunately, I've noticed this. Like, the difference between them and the other guys is their finesse, their run block finesse and their pass block finesse is pretty high. But if you put points into their pass block or you put points into their power, sometimes they'll switch. They'll be a well-rounded, or they'll be a pass protector, or they'll be a raw strength. So they can be difficult to position switch a lot of times. And they're the only offensive lineman without the strong grip ability. Well-rounded have it. Pass protectors even have it, and then the raw strength have it, but the Agile offensive linemen don't. And then, of course, their change of direction isn't bad, but you cannot train it, which is something kind of weird that I saw. So we're on the Agile offensive lineman, and I don't see change of direction, don't see change of direction, don't see change of direction, nope, nope, and nope. So unfortunately, they are Agile, but you can't train change of direction. It's a little bit weird. All right, up next are the pass protectors, and these guys are awesome. I absolutely love the pass protectors because, one, I like to pass the ball. And for the pass protectors, they've got a lot of cool things about them. Obviously, they're going to have good pass block power, good pass block finesse, off rip. Their run block a lot of times kind of sucks. But again, they're pass protector tackles. They're designed to go out there and protect. You want to throw the ball a gajillion times. These are the guys that you want to have out there on the field. For the pass protectors here, their initial ratings, they're exactly as they sound. They are good at all pass blocking ratings, all pass block power, pass block finesse, and pass block. They have good speed and acceleration, but for some really weird reason, they are not great at change of direction, and they're also kind of not very strong. So here we are on some of our guards that we have. I'll go over to the centers or the tackles in a second here. But the guards, you can see like this guy right here, he's a higher level recruit and he's got 53 change of direction. This guy's like a 3-star and he's got 34 change of direction, 34 change of direction, 44. I know some of these guys are really bad, but these guys are halfway decent, and they have 34 change of direction and 74 strength and 78 strength. Not very great. And really weird, the higher level recruits actually have the ability to have some strength. So this is 82 strength, this is 78, this is 83. These guys are 3 stars down here. Look at these 3 stars in their strength. 71, 71, 72, 73, 72. There are some contested specialist wide receivers that are higher than that. Gritty possession wide receivers that are higher than that. That is not really that great. And you add on to that 30 change of direction, 39 change of direction. There are some issues with the pass protectors. All right, so talking about their abilities, so they have pocket shield, improved pass blocking. They have quick drop, improved pass block movement. They have play action shield, improved play action blocking. Strong grip, boost to lateral shed prevention on runs, which is really interesting. And then wear down, pass block wins, fatigue defenders. These are all really awesome. So for the positives, they are the best pass blockers. They're the only offensive lineman with the wear down ability. So if they win, they wear that guy out. It's actually a really unique ability. They have 3 abilities that come from putting points into one cheap tree, which is the pass blocking, pocket shield, PA shield, and wear down. So you think about that pass block rating. So if you put points into that, pass block power gives you pocket shield. Pass block power gives you play action or PA shield. And then pass block in general gives you wear down. So these 3, they're most important. All you got to do is put points into one tree, which is the pass blocking tree. And then also at the end of the day, they surprisingly have a run blocking ability, which is strong grip, which prevents lateral shed prevention on runs. So they're a pass blocking tackle, but they have an ability that you can get that actually helps them on run plays. It's actually kind of cool. Now, unfortunately, with that feeds into the next thing on the negatives there is despite the fact that they have that strong grip ability, they are weak. Strong grip requires 1 bazillion points. So you have to have, I want to say 94 strength to get a strong grip ability. Oh yeah, so 94 to get bronze strong grip. And unfortunately, most of these tackles, this guy's actually halfway decent. He's got 81. Some of the recruits I had like 74, 71. So not only is power an expensive tree, but you have to put a ton of points into it just to get strong grip. So that they have it, but they don't really have it, you know? And you saw that there. I also mentioned it before. That change of direction is for some reason absolutely horrible for these guys. And you also can't train it either. So I'm trying to find change of direction for this pass blocker. Don't have it, 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 and don't have it. So if you've got 34 change of direction as an offensive tackle, you're always going to have 34 change of direction as an offensive tackle, guard, or center with a pass protector archetype. All right, up next are the raw strengths. And the raw strengths, I'm not going to lie, the raw strengths are kind of sick. Now, they're sick in their own way. I mean, some of these guys are tackles and, the tackles, the guards. These guys are the road graders. They're the old school offensive linemen. They're the ones that you want in the trenches for you. They're absolutely going to beat up the opponent in multiple ways. They've got a lot of really cool abilities. They've got a lot of really cool things about them that are really good. Let's get into those right now in the breakdown. All right, for the raw strength, initial ratings and their abilities, they are old school offensive linemen. They are very, very strong. They've also got very good lead block. And then their higher level recruits are very strong and can pass block pretty well too. So just because you're a raw strength guard does not mean you can't be a good pass protecting tackle. Now for these guys, their abilities, and they're almost all run related here. So we've got strong grip, prevention of lateral shed prevention on runs, workhorse, protection from wear and tear impacts. They've also got second level, improved second level blocking, inside shield, improved double teams on inside runs, and ground and pound, run block wins, fatigue defenders. These guys are absolutely awesome. Now, for the positives here, they are strong. As you saw, some of those guys came in with strong grip. Strong grip requires 94 strength. Now, the cool thing about strong grip is that it's 94 is bronze, 95 is silver, 96 is gold, and then 97 is platinum. I had to remember that off the top of my head. They're the only offensive lineman with workhorse and ground and pound. So again, they are the best at beating up the opponent. So if you play somebody and you've got like 3, I'll tell you one offensive line that's actually really cool to check out. Go check out Alabama's offensive line. I want to say everybody but the center. I think the center's a pass protector. Everybody has like inside shield and strong grip. They are absolutely awesome at just beating people up. Their run game is actually really good. Maybe not in real life, but the offensive line is really good. They're the only offensive lineman with second level, so climbing up to the second level, getting to backers, getting to safeties. They're going to blow those guys up. And it only requires points in 2 trees for all of their abilities, power and run blocking, to get them all their abilities. So strong grip requires strength, and then toughness is in the power. Impact blocking is in the power. Run block power is going to be in run blocking, and then run block is in run blocking as well. So all you got to do is you've got 3 for power, and you've got 2 for run blocking, and you can get them all of their abilities. Now, unfortunately for the negatives on these guys is that they're not significantly stronger than the Agile offensive linemen. The higher level recruits are. So you get a 4 versus a 4, but then you get like a 3 versus a 3, and it kind of levels out. And then you get a 2, and it really levels out. So some of those Agile offensive linemen are going to be super, super fast, significantly faster than the raw strengths are. And they're not going to be only a little bit less strong than the raw strengths are. So, like I said, the Agiles are still much better athletes than them. Again, 3 of their abilities require points in an expensive tree, which is the power tree, strong grip, which requires strength, workhorse, which is toughness, and then second level, which is impact blocking. So again, you have to have a lot of points to put into those for those guys. They have 0 pass blocking abilities. And then their speed is not that bad, but the acceleration is one of the lowest on the offensive line. And again, you cannot train the speed, so you can't even make up for that. So as you can see, no speed, no speed, no speed, no speed, no speed, and no speed. So they're slow. They're always going to be slow, but they're going to be able to get stronger. So that's what these guys fit into when you're trying to put them on the field. And last but not least are the well-roundeds. And the well-roundeds are, I'll tell you right now, you cannot do worse than having a well-rounded on your team. Like I said, it's almost like a pure possession tight end where I'm like, there's no bad reason to have a pure possession tight end. There's no bad reason to have a well-rounded offensive lineman. Again, guard, center, these guys, you can put them basically anywhere. They can do all, they're the do it all, everything on the field when it comes to a technician perspective. These guys are the ultimate technicians for the offensive line. So for their initial ratings, like I said, they're exactly as they sound. Again, they have no weaknesses blocking-wise. They're the ultimate technicians when it comes to blocking. They're not super inspiring athletic-wise, like I said, so their strength is actually not very good. It's sometimes can be close to some of those pass protector tackles. Their speed and their acceleration, their change of direction is not that great. Their strength depends on their star rating. The higher equals higher and vice versa. So if you're like a 4-star or a 5-star, well-rounded offensive lineman, you're going to have a higher level strength, but the lower ones are going to have low. Whereas like even some of the raw strength, like 2 stars can still have like 84, 85, 86, 87 strength. Again, you wouldn't think that is very high, but for a 2-star, it's pretty high. Their abilities are pocket shield, improve pass blocking, outside shield, improve double teams on outside runs, strong grip, and boost to lateral shed prevention on runs, option shield, improve option blocking, and inside shield, improve double teams on inside runs. Now, when you get to the positives and negatives, again, they are a jack of all trades. So what you want to do, especially ability-wise, inside runs, outside runs, option runs, and passing all work better with these guys. They are very unique in that, whereas you saw how the raw strength only do run plays. The pass protectors can't have one ability for run plays, but it requires 10 billion points. The Agiles are kind of like this weird like movement guy, whereas just the well-rounded guys, they're just come in, they're going to block well. It's hard to complain about a well-rounded guy unless he has like really low strength or something like that, but they're going to be able to block pretty well. 4 of the abilities require points in cheap trees, the run blocking and the pass blocking tree. So pocket shield and pass blocking, outside shield and run blocking, option shield in run blocking, and then inside shield and run blocking. So those trees right there, that's the unique thing about them. Whereas the pass protector has 1 tree that does 3 abilities. These guys have 2 that do 4 abilities, but those 2 abilities those 2 trees are pretty cheap. And then their footwork tab improves agility, change of direction, and lead block. And again, that is a cheap tree. That's one of the unique ones, whereas lead block is generally outside of that for most positions. But for the well-rounded guys, it is inside of the footwork tab. So this is an agile offensive lineman, and his lead block is inside of IQ. This is a raw strength, and his lead block is inside IQ. This is a pass protector, and his lead block is inside IQ. And this is a well-rounded, and there's no lead block inside IQ, but it is inside of footwork. So again, how that changes, if you guys like to put points into footwork, it will actually be a little bit more beneficial when it comes to blocking, when it comes to the well-rounded guys. Now for the negatives, unfortunately, and again, I tried to find this, but they are by far the worst overall athletes on the offensive line. So their speed, their acceleration, their agility, their change of direction, and their strength is all really slow and all really low. And you also cannot trade speed anyway, even if you wanted to. So some of these higher level guys, like I said, these guys are the higher level recruits. They're going to have 82 strength, 84, which is okay. This guy's 70 overall with 78 strength. And, I mean, his 55 change of direction, but you see like the speeds and some of the accelerations. I mean, some of this is below like the raw strength guys. These guys are not that great. Even kicking over to the tackles, you can see the fact these guys have a little bit higher here, but then you get down here to some of these guys. This guy here is 66 overall. He's probably a 3-star recruit, 73 strength, 63 acceleration, 55 speed. These guys, unfortunately, they're not the best athletes when you compare them to the other offensive linemen. That's all right, dude. I'm going to train their speed. Well, unfortunately, no speed, no speed, no speed, no speed, also no speed, and yet also no speed. So they're slow. They're always going to be slow. Their change of direction is not great. Their agility is not great. Their strength isn't that great, but they can block really well. And this feeds into the same thing for the pass protector. They have the strong grip ability, but unfortunately, when you come in with like 71 strength and you got to get up to 94, you got to put 1 bazillion points into power to get that strong grip. So it's there, but it's almost looking at you like, yeah, you're never going to see this. All right, getting into our rankings here. And remember here, we've got our rankings, and then we're also going to have our gem rankings. Now, gem rankings are generally like if you have a higher level recruit versus if you're just going to recruit somebody and you don't know. So this is the rankings that I have right here. This one was very difficult because it just depends on what you guys want to do on offense. But from my perspective, here's my reasoning behind these rankings right here. So for the Agile guard, the reason why the Agile guard is so sick is because quick drop, you've got a pass block ability, you've got quick step, which is a pulling ability, which is super easy to get. Those abilities are awesome. So you've got run blocking, you've got pass blocking, you've got the ability to pull, the ability to move, you've got impact blocking with screen enforcer. So you run a screen play, you run a pull play, you run a pass play. These guys can do all of that. The pass protector tackles, I love them because there is nothing worse than you get into a 3rd and 11 and you got to throw and your offensive tackle just gets torched. Having a pass protector tackle is extremely important. I'm telling you, everybody can use them. They're almost like a pocket passer quarterback. Even if you don't want them, put them on your team just in case. Then up next, I'm going to put the Agile center, which is the athlete. The reason being is because I think they're just so versatile. Now, there are issues with them. Like I said, if you switch them from one side to the other, you switch them from center to guard, from center to tackle, they might switch their archetype, but in general, they're the most athletic offensive linemen on the field. They're pretty strong too. You can do a lot worse than having an Agile center athlete on your team. Up next, I'm going to put the raw strength center and guard. The reason being is because, especially for the centers and the guards, that's where most of the inside runs are going to happen. That's where you're going to go up against the strongest players. The defensive tackles are generally going to be stronger than the defensive ends. You're going to need a little bit more of that raw strength, wearing those guys out, especially if you run a heavy run style. You're going to be able to just beat people up. I'll put the raw strength tackles just after that, just because I have a preference for the pass protector tackles. But I'll tell you what, raw strength tackle, you can do a lot worse. They've got a lot of good things about them. Then I'm going to put the well-rounded center guard and tackles. I'm going to give them I'm going to give them more due when we get to the gem rankings, just because off rip, like if you don't know, like these guys right here are just like, just plug and play him. Who cares? Yeah, I know he's got 74 strength. I know that I've had to train this up. He's only got, 72 this or 71 that on the blocking side, but he's weak and he's slow. But generally speaking, these guys make solid offensive linemen. You can always do worse than a well-rounded center guard or tackle. And then I'm going to put the pass protector centers or guards. It's not that they're bad. I actually like them a lot too, but I feel like I would rather have somebody beating up on a guard or on a defensive tackle than pass protecting. Although if you play against like an Aaron Donald, and those types of players are in the game, they will help you out a lot. And then the Agile tackle, and the reason why I have the Agile tackle so low, the outside shield, a double teams on runs is important. I also think that screen enforcer is important, but you don't really pull them that often. There are occasional a GT pulls where you pull the guard and the tackle, and that does help out a lot. It's cool to do those, but it's hard to kind of pull them in a lot of different ways. I will say one offensive line that's really cool in the same way that like the raw strength offensive line for Alabama is sick. Dude, there's 2 tackles who have, quick drop. I think they even have quick step. I think they mostly have quick drop for Colorado. And just having tackles that can move like that is awesome. But again, pulling the tackles, quick pull or quick step is not that valuable for a tackle. But then it's even worse. There's a big gap there between 8 and 9 because I love the Agile centers, especially the athletes, but you don't really pull the centers that much. They can get out on screen. Sometimes they don't. Their outside shield are in the middle, so you're kind of running away from them. So there's a lot of issues with them that I just don't maximize their abilities. Again, I love me some Agile centers. I'll kick them out to guard or something like that. But in general, the Agile center is the least of my favorite when it comes to the general rankings. All right, now getting into the gem ranking, so I'll let you guys. I am super biased when it comes to the Agile center athletes. Now, the issue though is that there's a lot of asterisks about this. And if you watched my video previously, the one where I talked about the crazy position switches, the Agile center athletes are one of those positions where you can kick them to defensive tackle, you can put them at offensive tackle. They can play anywhere on the defensive line. They would be technically a speed rush defensive end or an edge, but they would be not very fast. So you could do that if you really wanted to, but again, so these guys right there, if you talk about it from the offensive line perspective, if they're trained at center and then position switch to another offensive lineman, it may change the archetype, but they're going to be a freak offensive lineman. The easiest way to get a quick drop, a platinum quick drop offensive lineman is not to recruit a higher level tackle. It's to recruit a 3-star Agile center athlete who's maybe like 6'4", 6'5", train them up at pass blocking, kick them over to tackle after 1 year, and then they will position switch them up, and all they need is 70 speed and 84 acceleration, and they get platinum quick drop. That's really unique. Or if you get an Agile center athlete and they're a gem, just put them at speed rush DT, and they're going to be an absolute freak for doing that. Up next, I think for the gem rankings, I would put the well-rounded center guard and tackle. Like I said, a well-rounded center guard and tackle who you can put points into power. I mean, inside shield, outside shield, pass blocking shield. They are, incredible. Strong grip. They're going to be a problem across the board. They just have to put a lot of points into that power tree. Then the raw strength center and guard, the raw strength center and guards. Imagine just 99 strength, 99 run and block power, and just bludgeoning people up the middle. It would be awesome. Same thing with the raw strength tackles. There's a lot of raw strength tackles who can pass block pretty well, so I like them too. The pass protector tackle, again, probably the same thing with the well-rounded where you can put points into strong grip, but I think they're just not as cool as the raw strengths. And then the Agile guard. I love the Agile guard, obviously, but I do feel like if I got a gem, I would want an Agile center and switch them around, whereas an Agile guard would be sick, obviously. And then pass protector, center guard, and the Agile tackle, and then the Agile center. Like I said, for these guys here, again, these guys are all gem rankings, so I like one more than the other, but there's no pressure if you got one versus the other. These will all be sick. All right, guys, we got through all of that there. Now, I'm very interested to hear about this because, again, a lot of with these, especially the ranking section, it comes down to kind of your preference for what you want to do. I still gave love for those running teams. Don't get me wrong. You do those raw strength guards or centers. I like them a lot. I've got one guy right now who I'm training up. They are absolutely sick, but you guys get in the comments. What have you found? What do you like? What do you not like? You guys get in the comments and let me know. What do you prefer at tackle? What do you prefer at center? What do you prefer at guard? You guys get in the comments and let me know you guys' perspective. All right, guys, that's it. Thank you so much for being here. Please like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all that stuff. I really appreciate it. That's it for me, guys. I'll see you guys later. I am out.